I made a terrible choice recently. I went to, like 2 months ago, I went to South America, and I was going to go by myself, and then the night before I left, my dad emailed me, and he was like, hey, you know, you're going by yourself, you know, that could be lonely. I could go with you. And I thought, no, who would want that? But then I thought, I thought about it. Maybe it's a nice thing. You know, my dad's getting older. It would be nice. And so my dad came with me to South America. I spent 11 days in South America with my father, which is how I learned that the maximum amount of time I can stand to spend with my father is 4 hours. We were still in the airport, and I was like, this was a mistake. Oh, God. We would go tour around and see all the sights and everything all day, and then we'd go have dinner at night, and the waiter would come over like, hey, can I get you a glass of wine? I was like, I'll take the bottle, please. Oh, God. You know, and my dad doesn't drink, and you know how your parents getting judgy and stuff, and he's like, because I'm throwing it back. He's like, hey, what, you think you had enough? You think you had enough there? And I was like, no, I can still hear you, so. Nope. Another bottle, monsieur. It's terrible, man. But I was going there on a little journey of self-discovery. I got dumped, so now I'm on Tinder, and that's a nightmare. I don't know. Probably I'm not gonna ask you to applaud if you're on Tinder, because probably a bunch of you are. But maybe you're here with somebody who doesn't know you're on Tinder. But it's such but if you've been married for more than 10 years, you have no idea of this dating culture with apps and stuff. You have no idea. Because if you've been married more than 10 years, there's a 50-50 chance I know how you met your wife or husband. Because you guys probably met in a bar. That's how people used to meet, right? You would just go out and you would have 4 or 5 or 6 beers, or 7, 8, or 9 beers, and then at 2 o'clock in the morning, you'd throw back a couple of shots of Jaeger, and you'd point at somebody in the dark and say, good enough. That's how people used to meet. Now we're on Tinder like a bunch of losers. At this point, we're just asking our phones, could you introduce me to somebody? How sad is that? It's pathetic, man. But I'm on Tinder because I got dumped, so I've been listening to a lot of Beyonce. And I'll tell you, just putting Hold Up on repeat and crying in the shower, like a man would. But I'll tell you this, if you haven't been dumped recently, I'll remind you of this fact. If you've been dumped, you don't have to seek out sad songs to make you sad, because it turns out, if you've been dumped, all of the songs are sad songs. It doesn't matter, they all remind you of something. You're just listening to shot, shot, shot. I'm like, oh, we used to do shots. That was our favorite thing to do. It's terrible, man. But now I'm trying to kind of be introspective about it, and I think one of the things I realized about myself in a relationship is that I'm not as forthcoming as I could be. I think in a relationship, I view dating as like we're two countries spying on each other in the Cold War, and my goal is to collect as much information from her as possible while giving up nothing about myself or how I feel about her. Nothing at all. Just I've dated women who I thought about marrying, who when we broke up said, I didn't even think you liked me. Not liked me, just I didn't even think you liked having a conversation with me. And I was like, oh, so what you're saying is, I won. I went to Thailand with my ex, and this story isn't the reason that we broke up, although by the end of this story, you'd be like, yeah, that played into it, for sure. We were staying in one of those like a hut on the beach, on sticks, so it's elevated and safe. And we came in at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had the scariest thing happen to me that can happen to you in Thailand. I walked into the bathroom, and there was a snake on the floor in the bathroom that came up through the toilet, just like in your nightmares. I was freaking out. I was not dealing. I was terrified, but also I wanted to be strong for her, be a man for her. And so I tried to gather it together. I closed the door, and I was like, listen, I don't want to alarm you, but there's a snake in the bathroom. And she said, ooh, I want to see, and just ran into the bathroom without asking any of the questions I would have asked, how big was the snake, or did he look hungry, or should we just burn this hut down and buy new clothes in the morning? None of the appropriate questions. And to be fair, the snake wasn't huge. The snake was only maybe like this big and like the thickness of my finger, but I don't know which ones are poisonous or which ones can just jump directly into your throat and murder you. I don't know. I don't read the guidebook, so I'm looking around the room for like something to kill the snake with, and she was just like, "Oh, would you calm down?" And then she grabbed a magazine and a plastic beer cup and said, "I'll handle this." I was like, why is her voice deeper than mine now? And she went over to the snake and just crouched down and with the magazine, scooched the snake into the cup. Just scooched it and put the magazine on top. Snake doesn't even fit in the cup. His tail's all hanging out. She's like, this is fine. I'm like, what makes you think the snake can't get out of the cup? Like, he knows the way out. He just has to follow the rest of him. And he's home. She's like, I'm just going to let it out beside the door. And I was like, not beside our door, you're not. What, are you crazy? I was like, you walk into the jungle until I can't see you anymore. And you leave the snake there, and if you don't come back, I will FedEx your luggage to your parents. And she made it back. She comes back, she's like, time for bed. And I was like, no, time to search the room for all the other snakes. What makes you think he's the first guy in the door, right? All the snakes who are good at this, they heard us coming up the walkway, and they're like, hide, quick, right? And they hid. This guy's like a kid at a surprise party who can't hide fast enough. And he's just like, oh. I'll just go in the bathroom and hope they don't come in. Just standing there in the bathroom. All the snakes who are good at this is like they're all in their favorite hiding spots already. There's two of them in a pillowcase giggling to each other. They don't know we're in here. Right, all the snakes are on the ceiling fan, just laid out on the blades. So when you flick on the ceiling fan, it's just whipping snakes around the room. I don't know what fresh hell they have planned for me. I slept maybe 11 seconds that night. She doesn't care, sleeps like a baby. She doesn't care at all. She's just like, but she talks in her sleep though. And I think I heard her say, I wish I wasn't the man in this relationship. Which I'll admit did hurt. It did hurt. And I realized I could have come across better in the whole thing if I just admitted I was afraid of snakes or just said I was proud of her for being far more brave than I was, but I didn't. I kept it a secret and she dumped me. So what I'm saying is I won. You guys are lovely. Thank you so much.